was a crossover. Oh, wait, storyboarded by Dodge Greenlee. Isn't he the Pippi creator? Mordecai and Rigby. I don't know why Mordecai's got like this smug look on his face like that. You want some real crossover trivia? Mordecai and Rigby also show up in Problem Solvers. We've got a brand new Cartoon Network crossover to look at. No, it's not Pippi. This is like the second one because OKKO had that crossover as well. This is Crisis on Infinite Mirths. This is a special episode of the series Jellystone on Max. And Jellystone is a series that was pretty much already a crossover of dozens of Hanna-Barbera characters. If you're like a kid, you probably don't necessarily know that, but they, Yogi Bear, Flintstones, Jetsons, that kind of stuff. They're all cartoons from that kind of era. This maybe not is the best picture to see, but the art style should look familiar because this series is created by C.H. Greenblatt, the creator of Chowder. But he also got his start working on Billy and Mandy and a little bit of SpongeBob actually, but clearly from this poster, Billy and Mandy, and from stuff I've seen of clips too, Billy and Mandy play a pretty big part in this special. I'm going to do something kind of different for this video compared to my other like crossover analysis videos. I really want to purposefully point out which ones I know without having to look it up or anything. So if there's ones that I don't recognize, then you guys in the comments can help point out who those characters are and what they're from. So let's get into it. Obviously, we have Billy from Billy and Mandy, voiced by Richard Horvitz. And Richard Horvitz also voices Squirrel Boy, I believe. So when Squirrel Boy shows up later on, the voice actor was already signed on. And he also voices Billy's dad, who appears as Mogar later in the episode too. And like I've said earlier, C.H. Greenblatt worked a lot on Billy and Mandy. Kind of an obvious reason why he would want Billy to be one of the like main characters of this special. Then we have Mojo Jojo, of course, Dee Dee, Dexter appearing here. Do I really got to point some of these out? Like you got to know who Dexter is, right? But there are little music cues from the series too. Like here, there was a little bit of the Dexter's theme playing. Earlier with Billy and Mandy, there was a little bit of a music cue playing there too, which I think is something that OKKO crossover didn't necessarily do. Billy, Mandy, and Grimm watching Justice Friends, which was originally comes from Dexter's Lab, but I believe it had its own segmented episodes as well, beyond just being Dexter's Lab. The mayor from Powerpuff Girls, when we go into Townsville here. This is a great dramatic joke to have it be like a horrible monster, but then it's just Fred Burger. And Fred Burger, of course, is also voiced by C.H. Greenblatt, who is the creator of this Jellystone show. This is probably what most people would know him as, I guess. Is Fred Burger in? He's got to be in Punch Time Explosion. He was basically Cartoon Network's mascot for a little while. Like, I guess if you're younger, you don't know that. He was the funniest character in the world in 2008 or 9 or whenever. And Cheese from Foster's, he shows up later on too. But all right, this is our first one. This is a villain from Powerpuff Girls, but I don't know his name. Considering that he has a speaking role here, I would assume his voice actor voices somebody who's in Jellystone. We see him from Powerpuff Girls later on. He doesn't speak. It's going to be a little hard to see because I don't think this play bar is going to go away. But we have Cheese from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Johnny Bravo, Ice King, Fred Burger, Mordecai. I wonder if, is this accurate? Like, Fred Burger seems so little. and Rigby right here as well. You want some real crossover trivia? Mordecai and Rigby also show up in Problem Solvers. So they might be the most cameoed Cartoon Network characters. Then we have these two dogs, which I believe are also from Dexter. Another one that got me. I've seen them before, but I don't know them. So you guys in the comments can help me with that one. We got Truffles from Chowder, again, because the creator of Chowder made this show. And her shirt does very slightly do that, like, I forget what it's called, but that texturing effect that Chowder has that looks really unique. And again, too, probably her voice actor was already on this episode, so they just made Truffles appear specifically. There's Blue, there's Chicken from Cow and Chicken, Eduardo. Oh, there's Jake. I don't know if Jake shows up anywhere else, but there he is going upside down. There's Raj, I believe that's his name, from Camp Lazlo. And then the Devil from Cow and Chicken, which, is he just called the Devil, or does he have like a goofy name? And then in this shot, we see Lazlo, we see Eduardo again. Chowder comes down. Jake splats right there, but he can't see him anymore. And then the Devil from Cow and Chicken again. And Chowder's clothes are doing that textured effect here too. Cow from Cow and Chicken. Then Captain Knuckles and Flapjack. Then Dexter shows up in this mech, and I'm sure that this is a mech from an episode. I don't know if it has like a specific name, but definitely the goofy little costume he's wearing while inside of it. I've definitely seen this before in the show. I mean, this is very, very much just exactly like Endgame, coming out of the portals like this. But I believe this is another character from Justice Friends, or he's at least somewhat related to Dexter, but I think he's another Justice Friends character. Then we have Ed and Eddy come out, which it's cute too that they did the little like squiggly border effect on them too. That's a nice extra detail. And we get Finn over here. And as I pointed out when I was watching it myself, Finn has the gold sword. I guess because that's just the most easily accessible model of Finn. The mayor from Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, and the Kids Next Door. Do I have to say the numbers to prove that I know who they are? I don't think so. Kids Next Door will always be one. I wish it got that reboot they were trying to do. That had so much potential. Kids Next Door is awesome. And here's Squirrel Boy. My biggest surprise. Cameo here. Squirrel Boy is a show that I always kind of feel like it gives off Canadian cartoon vibes. I kind of associate it as not being a Cartoon Network show in the same way that like Total Drama that aired on Cartoon Network in America, but that's a Canadian show. In all these crossovers that they've done, you never see Total Drama stuff because that's technically not a Cartoon Network show. So I always rope Squirrel Boy into that same camp, but he's fully a Cartoon Network character. All right, then these are just more Jellystone characters, which again, technically they are from Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but that's not something I'm familiar with. Aside from Space Ghost here, who is super, super OG Cartoon Network character. I believe he's technically Cartoon Network's first like original character, or at least like Adult Swim's first original character or something. And I don't think he was in Crossover Nexus or anything, so it's definitely cool that he's here, and I assume he plays a bigger role in Jellystone just as a series anyways. I wonder if Harvey Birdman shows up in Jellystone. That's a show I've always wanted to check out. We have Muriel from Courage, number 5, Princess Bubblegum, Frankie. There we go. I was gonna call her like Eden or something. What? No, that's Frankie Foster. Or Jellystone characters, although this is the grandma from Tweety Bird, I assume. So there we go, recognize that one. And we got the monkey moment. We got Jake from My New Partner is a Monkey. We got Monkey from Dexter. I only know that his name is Monkey because, well, I guess that's easy to memorize. But he was a character in Punch-Time Explosion, I believe. The crossover Smash Bros. Cartoon Network ripoff game. Laszlo from Camp Laszlo. And the ape guy from I Am Weasel. I don't know his name, so you can help me with that one. Then we get that. This is definitely our endgame shot. I believe this is mostly characters that already showed up. Well, okay, Schnitzel's new. Courage is here, and Schnitzel, I believe his texture is doing the motion effect. Here's that's him from Powerpuff Girls. Double D, Chowder, Courage realizing that he's not built for this, running away. Robot Jones, which is. That's a great kind of niche one to see. And then Haas Delgado specifically with his Underfist outfit, which is a pretty interesting choice. Underfist was a Billy and Mandy Halloween special that was like kind of the finale of the show, but it was also meant to become its own show. But it didn't end up working out, but I really wish it did. So, I mean, getting to see a little bit of Underfist here is pretty satisfying to me. And C.H. Greenblatt played a pretty significant role in Underfist, I believe. I mean, he voices Fred Burger for the whole thing, but I would assume that he also did a bit of writing and storyboarding for it. Then we have Ben 10, very briefly on. I think that's the only shot that he's in. I don't know what alien he turns into, though. I'm not versed on the Ben 10 alien name, so you can help me with that one. Here we get Cheese in action. Oh, no, there's Jake's in this shot. Okay. K&D. I was literally, like, a few months ago watching Evil Con Carne. And, well, okay, so the brain is... No. Damn. I was literally just watching this because I wanted to watch all of it plus Billy and Mandy. And it's really hard to find the oldest episodes of Evil Con Carne because it used to air as like a double show. It was called Grim and Evil. And so it would be one episode of Evil Con Carne and then one episode of Billy and Mandy. And that was like its own show. But eventually the shows became separate shows. But like those Grim and Evil episodes count as a different show. So like I don't think you can buy them on iTunes, and they're definitely not really on HBO Max, or at least the Billy and Mandy ones probably are. But I don't think Evil Con Carne is even on HBO Max at all. But yeah, that's a history lesson for you. A lot of these shows, like a few of these are before my time, and I just remember it was the same case for Nickelodeon as well. Back when I was a kid, a lot of these much older shows like I Am Weasel and Cow and Chicken, I discovered because there would be videos of them and sections and games for them on the Cartoon Network website. So I never really saw them on TV, but I learned about them and got to watch a few episodes just from the Cartoon Network website. That's the same way I discovered Invader Zim and like Making Fiends and like some other stuff from Nickelodeon as well. And I guess nowadays how you find out about shows is just by word of mouth entirely. It's really, really hard to just discover cartoons for yourself in the same way it was back then. Here's Mogar, or Billy's dad, and Wilt from Foster's. I don't think I even noticed him when I was watching through. That's cool. Bubbles just died. We got Mandark down here. I think this is the only shot he was in. Ed's using Plank here to battle. That's good. Ice King ignoring the fact that he should have ice powers. Flapjack Chicken, Mordecai. Oh, there's Ben 10 again. Okay, that's good. We got Eduardo saying he's the fourth Ed, which is very interesting because there was a very obscure marketing campaign where there was commercials of Eduardo in Ed, Edd n Eddy. And it was like a way to advertise Foster's before it came out. And it's an interesting thing because it was a bit of lost media for a while, because somebody said, like, does anyone else remember this commercial? It seemed like something that would be real, but there was no evidence of it. So it was like, did this guy make it up? But then the community found one, and we found even more. I don't know if we have all of them archived, but if you look up Ed, and Eduardo or something, you could find those old commercials. So this is probably like indirectly or accidentally a reference to that. Courage hiding here, Johnny Bravo. And we get Fred Burger here talking about having to poo-poo, which is like a catchphrase, I guess, other than nachos and yes. Listen, it was a different time, okay? That was very funny when you were 8. We got Mordecai at Rigby. I don't know why Mordecai's got like this smug look on his face like that. Using Grimm's scythe to open portals, which immediately reminded me of how in the Billy and Mandy Big Boogie Adventure movie, like one of the plot elements is that they were going to get a new Grim Reaper. And the new Grim Reaper was going to be number 3 from Kids Next Door. So that was like also a really random but very funny crossover. And then of course Billy and Mandy and Kids Next Door just had an entire crossover special episode eventually too. So I guess those crews must have just been friends with each other because the shows are pretty different. Like they have very different styles. But it was really cool that they did that. But there we go. Mostly pretty known stuff in that episode, which is totally fine because again, there was definitely an extra effort with having a lot of the voice actors in there and little music cues and stuff. So that was really cute. Definitely feels like a worthy like celebration. Me being me, I would have loved for there to be a bit more like very obscure stuff because like the OKKO episode, even though they just show up like for flash frames pretty much, that had some very, very obscure stuff in that. But still, this was really cute. I'm sure it was definitely more of a thing for the creators to just bring back characters that they already worked with, like the Billy and Mandy cast, for example. So I hope that this was really fun for them to work on. There were a couple characters there that I didn't know, so definitely in the comments, help me out with that. Am I at least correct that most of them were from Dexter, hopefully? And for more cartoon content, be sure to follow me on YouTube and TikTok. And I'll definitely see you next time when we get a Cartoon Network crossover. They do it a lot, especially compared to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon doesn't do crossovers at all, pretty much. They have like that stop motion Christmas thing from forever ago. But Cartoon Network, like I said, like there was the Billy and Mandy Kids Next Door crossover. There was the OKKO episode. Pibby kind of counts. The Cartoon Network's definitely much more interested in doing this kind of crossover-y stuff. And it's definitely always very fun when it happens. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more cartoon coverage.